Good afternoon and welcome to a new mitzvah. BJC Mitzvah A, number 155, part 1. The mitzvah is entitled The Obligation to Check Fish for Kosher Signs. And we're going to dedicate today's mitzvah for a refuah shalema of Rav Shalom Yerachmel ben Miriam. He should have a speedy refuah shalema. Alright, this mitzvah is also found in the third book, Vayikra Parsha Shmini. Says the verse, "This may you eat from everything that is in the water, everything that has fins and scales in the water, in the seas and in the streams, those you may eat." Fins and scales, gotta have those too. Let's see. After discussing which land animals are kosher, the Torah in the following two mitzvahs addresses which fish are kosher and which ones are not, and the mitzvahs pertaining to their consumption. We are commanded to check for the signs of kosher status in fish. That is to say, one who desires to eat fish is to first check them well for the signs that the Torah gives with regard to fish. These signs are the presence of fins and scales. The source for this is as stated in Leviticus, "This may you eat from everything that is in the water, etc., everything that has fins and scales in the water, in the seas, and in the streams, those you may eat." We have already written in the mitzvah preceding this one, i.e. mitzvah 153, that Ramban, Nachmana is a blessed memory, does not include the count of the mitzvahs a requirement to check for signs of kosher in those species that the Torah permits us to eat. And that it seems to us that the truth lies with him in this regard. And although we find that the Gemara in Chulin explicitly states with regard to some of these species that when the Torah mentions which are kosher, this conveys a mitzvah obligation, which would seem to indicate that checking for these signs should in fact be counted in the list of mitzvahs, this is not the case. Rather, the intention of the Torah in the matter is to make one who eats of non-kosher species liable for violating a mitzvah obligation as well as a mitzvah prohibition. This is based on the rule that it is known to us that a prohibition that is derived through the implication of a mitzvah obligation has the status of a mitzvah obligation. The Chinuch cites a similar dispute. A similar example of this issue is that which we will additionally write with Hashem's help with regard to the mitzvah of lending to an idolater at interest, which the Rambam of blessed memory considers a mitzvah. However, it would appear that the verse that speaks of lending to an idolater at interest comes only to make one liable for violating both a mitzvah obligation and a mitzvah prohibition when lending to a Jew at interest. Let's do a little more. With regard to the underlying purpose of this mitzvah, I have already written, says the author, about it, as well above, in the mitzvah to check for the signs of kashrus in animals. That which I wrote there is the general principle pertaining to the underlying purpose of the mitzvahs to check the signs of all four types of creatures whose kashrus we must ascertain: land animals, fish, grasshoppers, and fowl. Okay, we will continue with this mitzvah, God willing, tomorrow. Thanks for listening to sponsor a future mitzvah. 36, 100 for the gold. Have a great day.